In mid-September, I headed off for a lunch. It was an overnight trip. I left my home port and then sailed across Ishinomaki Bay, where I was hoping to get some fish, around the top of Tashirojima, down a little strait, and then up an inlet into Kobuchihama, a little fishing port where I had lunch and stayed the night. I had pretty consistent north west winds of between 12 and maybe 15 knots or something like that, but consistent winds all the way, which gave me really good speed. I left with a double reef mainsail and about a third of the furled head sail out. It was under control all the way, but a little bit choppy at some stages, but actually really good sailing. And as I said, really surprised about the speeds I made for a little 25-foot boat. Through the trip, I used a combination of hand steering, the tiller pilot, and Dominic Tarr's wind vane that I use, and just for a bit of variety. But the wind vane worked perfectly. This is the first time I've tried to use it on a broad reach, and it just did a really good job. So very happy with the wind vane later on. This is walking up to the restaurant. You can see there's quite a big car park, and this is a really popular place. A lot of tourist buses stop here, and it looks like the Porsche boys are in town. The restaurant has two parts. One part has indoor barbecue areas where you can buy
Whoa!
seafood, crabs, fish, and shellfish, oysters, scallops, and things like that, and then barbecue them on a charcoal barbecue. And the other one is an inside restaurant where the local uh, people cook up different seafood dishes. Um, this was built after the tsunami and is basically a support facility to give employment to the people after the tsunami. But it's become really, really popular for people to go for a drive and drop in here. I had Hoya sashimi and oyster, deep fried oysters. Delicious. After a heavy lunch, it was a walk around the village, then back to the boat, afternoon rest, then beautiful evening with a nice sake, a bit of dinner, and Joshua Slocum on the audio book. That was good fun. One slight problem about mooring up in a fishing port is the activity starts at about 3:30 in the morning, with the wake of all the boats going out. I was up about 4:30, bit of breakfast, and I could motor out the in. I could actually sail out the inlet because the wind was coming straight down it. And my plan was to sail across to another island and visit some friends. But once we got out the inlet, the wind died completely, and that was it for the sailing for the rest of the trip. We motored across to Ajishima Island. As we enter Ajishima, over on the port side, you'll see a little white house up on the cliff there. I think this shows a little bit between the idea of wealth and wealth distribution between Japan and other countries. This is the holiday house of the ex-president of the Honda Motor Company. Now, in any other country, he'd have a multi-story place with million-dollar yacht, and here he just has a little two-bedroom cottage in a isolated island. You can't see really well from the photographs here, but we're going to walk around to this island, walk around to this house. There's a bloke pulling crab pots here off the side of the wharf, so he waved me over to the other side of the port, and I motored over there. But there were crab pots over there as well, so he didn't want his being tangled up. In 90% of these little ports in Japan, it's free to tie up. Of course, you've got to make sure you don't make any trouble to the fishermen. Ask somebody where's a good spot or something like that. But there's also stories of yachties pulling in, and there's a harbour master, and they go in the harbour master, to check it out, and they spend 45 minutes filling out pieces of paper, and then paying the fee for the mooring, which ends up being about 50 cents. So it's a walk back to the boat, harvest some sea urchins, uni, to take home for my wife, and then head back home. But unfortunately, there was no wind, so we motored all the way back home. Had the trawling lines out, and no fish, but still really nice couple of days. Yep, that's good. Okay, Tara's going to be happy.